stressed.
Shut up.
Oh, hey, by the way.
No.
Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about stress.
Yes. Let's talk about stress, baby. Let's
That's
talk
not
about
that song. That is not that song, babe.
But it's still,
I like what you did.
but it still kind of went. Let's talk about stress. Let's talk about stress. Oh, God. Niggas, what is anybody, like, not stressed out, though?
I don't know anybody who isn't complaining about something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really thinking about it now. Like, when is there a time where you're not stressed about something? I guess maybe it depends on the levels of stress. That's where it comes into play, you know?
You know when you weren't stressed?
Hmm.
When you were a baby.
Nigga, you were stressed because you couldn't even talk. You're like, hey, shit!
But you got, like, instant gratification.
Not all the time. I feel like there's different levels to stress, you know? Because, I mean, like, I think everyone, like I was reading them. They said that there's good stress and there's bad stress. So having little bits of stress isn't that bad. It's just when it becomes prolonged and when it becomes extreme and starts affecting, you know, other parts of your daily routine and, you know, how you react to things, I guess.
Well, nah, I was reading and it was like stress is like a evolutionary thing that we have, and it's actually what you were saying is actually a good thing because like it's like a heightened level of awareness. So I guess when we was like running from like saber-toothed tigers and like mega birds and shit, you probably want to be a little stressed. Like you probably want to have a little urgency in your step.
Yeah.
But I don't think we equipped for this type of stress. One thing that I realized that like everything I stress about is some man-made shit. Like it's just like some societal stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps me get through things, but I don't know. I'm still stressed.
I guess too, it's just the urgency of our society. Everything is so fast right now. You know what I mean? So I think that really plays a part into why everybody's so stressed right now, because it's just like a one big race. Like, and then just the imaginary timeline that is put in place of how things are supposed to be done. And especially when people feel like they're falling behind, you know, that can cause stress. In reality, you know, everybody has their own timeline.
Yeah.
You know, you might be 33 right now, still don't have any kids, and you're getting stressed out about it. When it's like, you know, because in your mind, you always thought that you should have had kids by the time you were 22.
And it's not even just in your mind, like it's the constant reminder that that's how it is.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
we constantly connected, like we're always looking and peeking on other people's lives and everybody's obviously showing the best versions of themselves, but ain't nobody keeping it real online. Everybody hurt.
Right.
Everybody going through something, you know. There's like a million things we're convinced we need to be doing.
Right. At one time. In one
At
day.
one time. All in one day. Like we're supposed to like maintain the perfect lifestyle. We're supposed to be balanced in work, organized home life. We're supposed to be traveling. We're supposed to be maintaining mental and physical health and being creative all at the same time.
Right. I think that's one of the major things that we can all try to do to help combat stress is to stop trying to super multitask. You know what I mean? And legit take out a piece of paper and a pen or use your phone, whatever you want to do, and write down what you're going to do for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you can do it when you're laying in the bed first thing in the morning or whatever, like, it sounds like it's, you know, even that sounds like too much work to me, like, It's really not. If you think about it, that's really not. Just like probably takes less than 5 minutes to jot down real quick what you want to get accomplished for the day. And I think too, when you can visually see it, you know what I mean? Like in your head, it's like, I'm going to do this, and it sounds fine. But when you get it on paper, I think you'll see like it's ridiculous. Like, no, maybe bring it back to like 3 or 4 things that you want to try to accomplish in the day, you know, depending on what they are.
Like you're saying, prioritizing just like falls to the wayside, you know, and then we get this feeling of getting pulled in 1,000 different directions. And when you do that, we don't declare an end goal most of the time. And then when you don't achieve nothing, because nothing was set, you feel burnt out. You feel like you're doing all of these things. And honestly, I remember when I was younger, I used to hear people saying there's like not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
And that shit did not resonate until 8 hours of my day was taken up by going to work.
Yep. Then you get home and you try to do all these things and you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Or your brain is so scattered because you want to do so many things, you don't even know what to do, and then it's time to go to bed.
Time to go to bed and do it all over again.
Yeah.
Shout out to the parents, yo.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
Shout out to my parents.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Britt. I don't know how you go home. I'm selfish as hell. I don't know how you go home and be a mom.
I mean, yeah, but especially those parents with more than one kid. Like, I can't even imagine, you know what I'm saying? Because all your time is dedicated. My son goes home and plays Fortnite. So
yeah, I was in Wawa earlier this morning getting some coffee.
Yeah.
And there was this little boy losing his shit. And his mom just looked drained emotionally, physically, just on empty.
That's how it be, yo.
Yeah, and he was spazzing. He was throwing. It didn't help. Let me tell you something. You felt bad for his mom.
Yeah.
But also, it was just like, yo, get your kid.
Right, get your fucking kid later.
Get your kid.
Right.
But, like, it didn't help that he was in a onesie pajama set, too. Like, that just added to the ridiculousness of the situation.
But like you said, she looked super drained. Like, we don't know what she was going through. Maybe she was just fucking over it. Maybe she was 1 second away from throwing that little motherfucker out the window. Like, we don't know. Maybe she was about to crack, and that's the only way that she could keep it together is just by zoning out. You know what I mean?
I heard her say, like, the cashier was ringing her up, and the cashier was like, oh, we've all been there. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, nah, I ain't never tried that. Like, I might have acted up.
You don't know that. You don't remember when you was like 2. You may have. You don't know. I bet, ask your mom. I bet you've had a meltdown. I'm sure not running around in your onesie, but you know what I mean. That's all. I'm sure you've had a meltdown, because Shay has had plenty, and there's nothing I could do about it.
I feel you.
Like, I couldn't throat chop him, like.
But like she was like, yeah, when he does it out in public, I can't just send him to his room. I was like, that's all you gonna do? That's it.
Listen. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. I'm gonna throw out some.
I'm like, yeah, moving on.
All right, moving on. I'm gonna throw out some stress facts, right? Okay. So they say, 44% of Americans feel more stressed than they did 4 years ago.
Oh, wait.
What's up?
Yeah. Can I say the definition of stress?
Go for it.
The technical definition? Okay. Stress is a physical, mental, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension. So stresses can be external, you know, from the environment, psychological or social situations, or internal, which means like from illness or from a medical procedure, you know, like I'm causing stress to this certain area. Because it's literally putting pressure or tension onto an object. So when it's on you, you are the object. Oh, shit. So there's pressure. Under pressure.
All right. Right. Thank you, Britt. Thanks for the definition. Yeah. They say 1 in 5 experience extreme stress, shaking, heart palpitation.
Yeah. Palpitations, yeah. That's when you feel like your heart's skipping a beat.
And depression. And we were talking, and you were saying, like, there's really not much difference between stress and depression.
Not too much. Can I run it down real quick? Like,
yeah, go ahead.
Some similarities, pretty much what I'm saying. Like, I saw on a website, somebody was comparing, and they use different wording, but, like, it's the same thing. Sadly, the only difference between stress and depression is having thoughts of suicide. So it's like, it seems like it doesn't fall into depression until you're thinking about killing yourself. But, you know, just changes in eating habits are from stress and causes of depression, or common signs of depression: feeling burned out, trouble concentrating, withdrawing from people, feeling overwhelmed, having trouble remembering things, being agitated and irritable, feeling that you can't overcome difficulties in your life, trouble functioning just in society, and what else? Like feeling bad about yourself, feeling guilty. But stress is like a level 1 tier type, you know, thing. Then depression, of course, is probably like level 3. Like, it gets higher and higher. Depression is like a form of chronic stress, essentially. And chronic stress is just when you have prolonged periods of feeling stressed out about something and you can't shake it, then it just kind of slips into a depression because of the feeling of hopelessness. And then actually too, you know, anxiety ties in too with depression and stress, but anxiety is more so the feelings, feeling fear of, things that you don't even really know what you're like worried about. Just always that anxious feeling. And I guess that's kind of how they try to really differentiate it, is anxiety is literally when you're feeling stressed out and fearful, but you don't know why. Okay. Or it's just like the anticipating of something, like you just...
Something that like, you can't even pinpoint.
Or it's like, you just know something's going to happen and nothing is even showing that it's going to happen, but you're always just feeling that way, like, oh, something's going to go wrong, or, But, yeah, so...
All right, so, work stress causes 10% of strokes, and in the past 20 years, there's been a 60% increase in productivity, accompanied by a stagnant wage. So no wonder niggas is wildin'. Mm-hmm. We working 60% harder, right, and not really getting paid much more, And they're saying that stress is the basic cause of all human illness and disease. 3 out of 4 doctor visits are stress-related ailments. Stress increases the risk of heart disease by 40%, heart attack by 25%, and 50%. I don't know how it says and 50%. What does that mean?
I don't know. But that makes sense, though, because when you're stressed out, it causes high blood pressure. And high blood pressure causes strokes and heart attacks. So, what's funny? Every time, sometimes when I would go to the doctor just for, yearly checkup and things like that, it would just so happen to be, either I was, arguing with somebody on a text or somebody's, stressing me out, you know what I mean? And it was, I remember, 2 or 3 times in a row when I would go to the doctor, I would literally be in the waiting room, arguing or snapping on somebody, texting, getting all worked up and shit. So then it's I go into the room, and they take my blood pressure, and they're like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah. No, I'm really worked up right now. I'm sorry. And they were just freaking out. And I'm like, cause it was skyrocket. They were scared. They're thinking that was just my normal. Cause I'm acting like I'm cool, walking in hey, how you doing? Yeah, meanwhile, the inside I'm boiling. So I have to tell them I'm actually really upset right now. I was so they were all right, let's just calm down. Put your phone down. Take 10 minutes, and then they take it again, and they see that it went down.
It went down.
Yeah, that's happened a few times. And the first time, I wasn't really trying to tell them what was going on, because I wasn't thinking. I'm oh, my heart was racing. It was each time it was something where you get the heart palpitation, the heart dropped, it was some really bad. I don't even remember. I know one time there was some dude I was talking to, put me through it. Child. Probably saw something I shouldn't have seen online. I was all upset. And another time I was probably talking to my family, getting all upset. But I was wow, that really, that's a real thing. Stress can freaking kill you.
How many people are walking with that? Or just walking around you're in the doctor's office?
Exactly.
Maybe the place you need to be.
And I was in the danger zone.
Going to work?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I was
just going to work.
And I don't know how many of you guys know, but you guys know that feeling when just you feel the heat rise and everything around you is just dimming, and you just feel that panic. You know what I mean? Having a whole panic attack almost. Panic attacks are real things.
I've never had one. And you know what? I didn't have anxiety. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was anxiety until college.
Yeah. So they make it seem like some foreign special thing that only a few certain people experience,
I know I felt that way.
Or you feel like you only have it if a doctor tells you have it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Now, I definitely don't have it as bad as other people. Mm-hmm. I know certain individuals that really, really have it bad.
Yeah.
Even having it a little bit, man, that shit uncomfortable.
It is, especially when it prolongs. Oh my God, it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah. Where was we at? Okay, so these two go hand in hand. I'm gonna read them off quick, and then I'm gonna plug something in. 40% of stressed people overeat or eat unhealthy foods. 44% lose sleep every night. So I was telling you about a podcast I was listening to, a Joe Rogan podcast with this guy, Matthew Walker. He's a professor of neuroscience, and his whole thing is about sleep.
Okay.
And one of the things that he said during this, he said, if you're getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep per night, you're eating an average of 200 to 300 extra calories during the day, and you choose less healthy foods.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anybody who's just like into that type of thing or just want to learn something, please go listen to that podcast. That podcast opened up my eyes to just how beneficial sleep is and how much it's not talked about as much as diet and exercise. Like, sleep should be prescribed. So.
Yeah.
And we're in a society that, like, we almost, like, think it's good that you don't sleep a lot. You know, it's like...
Well, I always on the petty side. Have you ever, like, went to sleep and you woke up and your stomach a little flatter? You know, like... Please explain.
Please explain, Britt.
You know, like, when you go to sleep and you wake up, it's like your body be burning calories when you sleep because you wake up and it's like, mine's on a little...
Well, hold on. That's the thing. Like, if you listen to some of this podcast, listen to the whole thing. Yeah. There's a lot of things sleep does. He talks about dreams. He talks about just how literally he said being awake, us having this conversation and just being awake and not sleep causes small amounts of brain damage.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because that's what, like, sleep is regenerative. That's when you regenerate. Yeah. That's why they call it beauty sleep. I'd be like, you don't sleep, you get them bags, child, anybody got time. That's why I'm like, I need to go to bed. And, I love my sleep. Y'all motherfuckers, remember in college? I hated you guys.
Another time.
Listen, I used to be asleep by like 9 o'clock. I was mad whack. Like, I didn't care.
Yeah, you were very whack.
I didn't care.
We had to break you out of that.
No.
You're too much fun awake.
No. I would be passed out by 9 p.m. And they would come in
we coming at 2. We used to be on our sofa just mad, pouting.
Yes.
We ain't want you for nothing.
Diner. And I try to walk to the diner for a buffalo chicken cheesesteak at 1 a.m. Like, are y'all kidding me?
We wasn't getting enough sleep. We was eating that nasty ass bad for you cheesesteak.
Up at night, freaking go eat at the diner. Yeah, or have me come sit on y'all's couch.
That was good times.
I guess.
It was.
I still miss that sleep. I still want that sleep back.
That's another thing. Right. Another thing he was saying. He was saying that, like, say you get 4 hours of sleep one night. And you have a plot in that day right after that you said, all right, I'm going to catch up on sleep. Sleep don't work like that.
I know.
Sleep doesn't work like that. Like, you lost that. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting it back. Naps aren't... It's really the quality of sleep. Like, when you fall asleep, that deep sleep is what you really need.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just feel like, let's get back on track. We almost, like, give merit or, like, we glorify people running on empty. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't get no sleep. I work nonstop, this, that, and the third.
Or two, the sugar, because you said 40% of stressed people overeat or eat unhealthy food. I was reading how, like, sugar is, like, the worst food for stress, and coffee, just because of the crash that you get with it. And cortisol is a hormone. It's our body's stress hormone, so it helps regulate our brain reaction, I guess, to stress. And sugar and coffee spike it, like, out of control because it's just, like, too much. And then, there's the crash. So that, has you feeling low and just a never-ending cycle. Especially though when you're eating sugar all day. It's like you just amped all day.
Everything got sugar in it.
Yeah, I'm currently not eating any sugar. I know.
Yeah, I'm
literally drinking nothing but water.
Well. Yeah, me too. Except that gin I had last night, though.
Yeah. See, I didn't even drink nothing because I'm like, everything I want to drink has sugar.
Yeah. Another fact is stress shrinks the brain. Extreme stressful events reduce gray matter in regions tied to emotion and physiological functions, which lead to future psychiatric problems. The term gray matter is weird to me. It's like y'all just couldn't come up with a better term than that.
I know. It sounds so basic, like...
Right? But that also makes it sound serious.
It sounds like they don't know. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
I don't have to read more into that.
So, stress-related ailments cost approximately $300 billion every year in medical bills and lost productivity. $100 billion more than what obesity costs Americans.
Wow.
So, like, that's another thing he was saying on that podcast. Again, Joe Rogan Experience podcast number 1109, Matthew Walker, if you guys are interested. But he was saying, like, productivity. just like mistakes being made at work because you're not sleeping enough. We lose so much money a year towards that. And if people were actually getting the required amount of sleep, you know, who knows how much better it would be for society.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing. Vacations are crucial for managing stress.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you. I don't know too many people that can afford, they might be able to afford it in the short run, but afford to take regular vacations.
I saw that too. Like, basically, vacations, yeah, they're crucial for managing stress, but it also causes people a lot of stress. People who put a lot of emphasis on wanting to vacation. And I was seeing that they were like, you know, maybe look into staycations, like just things that you can do that are close, because vacations, even if you can take them, sometimes they are very stressful. Just the whole planning and trying to go. I know when I went to the Bahamas, oh my God, I was stressed out the whole freaking time with my kid. It was terrible. Like, looking back now, like, I can see some of the good parts, but I was so stressed out. Like, my son was being such a little asshole. Like, he was being terrible.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we went on a cruise with my aunt and her friend, and she has 3 kids, and he was just getting his whole life with those other kids, just cutting up. Like, he's acting a whole fool because I couldn't, like, beat his ass. Not that I even beat his ass, but I wanted to. On that boat, because, you know, I wasn't trying to get kicked off. He was showing his whole behind, yo. He was living his best life. Like, and he knew I couldn't do nothing about it. He was, ooh. I was stressed. Then I was just stressed out too because I'm like, oh my God. You know, I didn't want to take my eye off of him because there's so many people. Didn't want him to be on the edge, fall off the dang boat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's too many people on that boat. Your kid can get snatched. Like, it was just too many things that stressed me out.
Yeah. I think, well, first of all, I do think vacations are very beneficial. If you can afford to take a vacation, take them, even if it's a staycation, like you were saying. But, like, one of the things that I learned, you know, I haven't been too many places, but I went to the Dominican Republic. I went to Canada last year for my birthday. Shout out to Montreal. Montreal dope as hell. But, like, just going somewhere and experiencing, like, a different life and just having that break away from, like, your just everyday running around and all that. I don't know. It's just like you come back with this different perspective. You know, you come back with this like this isn't all it is. There's other stuff out there. Yeah. Another thing that bothers me though is I want to experience that over and
that's
over.
What I was just. That's why I just like rolled
again.
my eyes when I'm like, yeah. Then you come back and you're kind of depressed.
Same shit.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing because you come back and it's like, okay. I don't know when I'll be able to afford to do something like that again. Exactly. And now I'm back to this fucking shit. This life. Right.
All right. So, the U.S. does not legally require workers to take time off, contrary to Spain and England, where a mandatory 30 days of holiday. 30. I got 2 weeks. I think I got 2 weeks paid vacation.
And it's not even mandatory, though, like you said. Like, it's not like they legally look like, you better take these fucking days.
Yeah, take these days. take these days off. Right?
Oh, my 30 days, dude.
30 days. That's a month. They can take a whole month off.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Like, and that's the thing, like, cause then, you know, cause over here in America, I'm sure they'd be like, well, how are we going to find people to cover the shifts, da, da, da. More people would want to work. More people would want to work for your company. Probably. If they knew that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I get a month vacation. What? You would have all the support you need.
Well, it's just this competitive nature over here. And like, let's just be honest, yo. Like, America really don't care about people.
No, right. That's what I'm like.
You know
that's
what
all
I mean? It's all about productivity.
That's the thing. They don't realize that they have to care about people to make their productivity, you know, better. Because you got people over here killing over and dying.
All right. Hold on, let me piss you off some more. Okay. 24% of U.S. employees work 6+ extra hours a week without pay. Not the fuck me. That's an average of $2,262 per year and enough for a family of 5 to take a trip to Disney.
That makes sense to people that are salaried and they work overtime. They don't get paid overtime pay. That's why at certain jobs I didn't want to be salaried because I said, you ain't about to get me. Like, especially when I know I'm working overtime and shit, especially when I was cooking. Yeah. Nah, yo. Like, you have me in the kitchen doing OT and I'm not going to get my time and a half because I'm salary? Fuck out of here. Even at my job now, like, we come in before we're supposed to be there. We always end up staying longer than, we get paid 8 to 3. We be there before 8 o'clock and we sometimes be there till 4 o'clock on a daily. Mm-hmm. So that all adds up. So, like you said, per week, yeah. Essentially 6 extra hours per week, yeah. Yeah, at my job. Because we have to wait, like, the dismissal's at 3 o'clock. Okay, the kids are supposed to be leaving at 2:30. They don't all leave sometimes. Sometimes buses are late, or we got to do all this data charting and things like that, and we don't get paid for it. Mm-hmm. Bullshit.
Yeah, that's a lot. Average time off in the U.S. is 10 working days plus 8 national holidays. France gets 7 weeks.
Wow.
7 weeks.
Wow. That's more than 30 days.
Yeah, right?
How lovely.
Well, is it 7 weeks like 7-day weeks, or are they counting just the 5-day work week?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's only...
Still more.
That is more than 30. Yeah, my math is horrible.
What's up with Henry Ford? Why do you have fuck Henry Ford right here on the notes?
Oh, because
damn, it's like there's no description around it. He just has fuck Henry Ford.
Well, he's the person that modernized like just the assembly line type of work and the 40-hour work week and stuff like that, and that sucks. Mm-hmm. Who said 40 hours was good? I really start to think about it, and right now I'm at a point where how do you keep up with all these relationships, y'all? I spend 8 hours with people I really don't really care much about, and then I come home and have 3 hours to spend with my family. Mm-hmm. And then I gotta go to sleep. Mm-hmm. It's like, how does let's say your romantic relationships, how do they not get affected?
Right.
I mean, imagine like you and your husband both working 40 hours a week. You got a kid. You guys come home and you're supposed to maintain a healthy relationship. How? When?
Well, that's why I don't get enough sleep. Because you're staying up late trying to just talk and catch up and stuff, because I would love to go to bed by like 10 o'clock, but he doesn't come until 9. So then it's like, I want to spend a little bit of time together. And then, our work schedules don't match up. So yeah, and especially if you don't live with each other, it's really hard. Yeah. Like, at least we live together. So we still, even though it's short, we still see each other. And he works close, so I go to his job and see him and things like that.
And then on top of that, like, that's just him. Like, what about, everybody needs their time, their me time, their time by yourself. So you're balancing me time with your loved ones, time with your son, trying to put food on, like, it's just a lot, yo. It's
hard.
Just a lot. Yeah. It's a lot, yo.
It is. Definitely gonna start trying to make that list, the daily list. Right. Try to get some things in order, because then it all like compiles and compiles and compiles, and then you just find yourself in a funk. I've been in a funk like past 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, Britt's been going through it, y'all. She's had some things happen the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, somebody tried to steal my car. I'm laughing, like, it's not funny, but it's just like, what the fuck? There's an eclipse, lunar eclipse, because it was the moon, because it happened at night. There's a lunar eclipse 2 Thursdays ago. So what was that, like July 13th or some shit? Yeah, no, because it was Friday the 13th, the day after. It was July 12th. There it is. There's a lunar eclipse in Cancer. So it had to do with your home, your relationships, things like that.
It had to do with a lot.
Yeah, I was like, everyone was so affected by it terribly. Like, I mean, me personally, my car got broken into. It didn't get stolen, thank God. But
no, I read into it.
But I was gonna say that. No, that's the thing. I was reading all about it, and I didn't even see anything about car theft. But I was just reading about the eclipse, just what to expect and things like that. So yeah, like, I thinking I'm coming out unscathed. I'm like, nothing's really going on in my life. And I mean, like, my family's going through some stuff. Like, my nephew had to go to the hospital, so that was really stressful. But me personally, like, nothing was really happening. I told Isaiah about it. I'm like, hey, read up about this, da-da-da-da. So then,
because Isaiah was going through his own little things as well.
His own little thing. I'm like, hey, maybe check this out. Maybe you see some correlations. So the next morning I go and I see that my car got broken into, but I don't keep shit in my car, literally nothing. And I have a 2004 Dodge Neon. Like, get your life. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Do they make those anymore?
They better not. I really hope they don't. Fuck that car. But, let me not talk about Alicia. Alicia be holding me down. Alicia. But anyway. So, yeah, the person had basically pried open my passenger side door. Like, thank God it didn't bust a window. So I was like, okay. But I saw they pried the door open. All right. And then they tried to steal my car. My initial was all chunked away, but my key does have a chip, even though my car is old. So they weren't able to steal it. So I was like, okay. So then I told Isaiah, he was like, yeah, that's like the first thing I saw was car theft. I was like, damn, like I didn't even, I was like, okay, well, I guess I did get hit with the Eclipse, but I know my ass put my little janky ass steering wheel lock on my joint every night now. I ain't playing no games with them.
Hey, they did get you for that aux cord.
Yeah, they took my petty. Aux cord.
That's mad petty. Hella petty, yo.
With my little iPhone adapter. I was like,
right? Grimy, yo. They know the iPhone adapters cost like $40 to replace, yo.
I mean, luckily I had upgraded my phone, so I have another one, luckily. But, yeah, I didn't notice until like a week later. Because my commute is so short, I don't usually plug in my phone. I was like, really? I was trying to go to King of Pressure. I was like, for real? Like, okay.
But now your door's all messed up. It's all letting rain in and shit.
Yeah, luckily, like my friend, her husband is a mechanic, so he bent it back in for me, but only when it rains super hard. So I guess it rained, it didn't trip rain. It's just when it's like a crazy downpour, the rain comes in, but he said he can fix it. I'm just glad it didn't bust a window, and I'm glad my car didn't get stolen.
Yeah. I'm glad your car didn't get stolen either.
God.
But yeah, like that Eclipse, they were just saying how like this was like a point where you're just going to have to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Some of the relationships you're in, whether it's romantic, you might have to end those. Mm-hmm. Those might be coming to an end, or you're just gonna have to make like real changes. They're saying like everybody's life is about to drastically change.
Yeah, I think my change was just with myself. You know what I mean? Just because of how I'm taking care of myself and things like that. I think maybe that's where it played into my relationship with myself. Needed to change. Because I've just been like really just slacking hard, not taking care of myself.
It's hard. Yo, that's another thing. Like, how in the world do these people, how do they get enough sleep? Mm-hmm. Number one, you get enough sleep. You're taking care of yourself mentally. Taking care of yourself physically. You're working out. Mm-hmm. Taking care of your kids. You're taking up hobbies.
Drinking enough water.
Drinking enough water. You know, I don't know how people stay fit, yo. That's probably been the, like, biggest struggle. You're making sure you're eating well.
Like, do you work?
Right?
Cause I feel like that's when I was the most fit, was when I was not working.
You don't got nothing else to do.
Exactly. Essential.
Yeah. I think one of the things I've been working on personally to try to address some stress is like just health.
Yeah.
Just try to eat better.
Yeah.
Especially, I can't eat certain shit no more, yo. Like, that should really be draining me now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I have one burger, like, I'm gone, like, blot out, like, an extra couple hours for rest after.
Right. Yeah, definitely picking a time and place when to have that burger, right?
Hell yeah, when to have that badass meal, or just not having it.
Or not having it at all. But yeah, if you do want to have it, make sure it's not the time you need to be doing something, because you already know. You're out of commission.
I always feel like I need to be doing stuff, too.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So there's certain things, like kind of like how we talked about in our sabotage episode of, you know.
Go check that out. Go check that out, sabotage.
Burn it.
William A. Hopper. Illuminati.
What?
I don't know.
All right. So we listed through certain things that are detrimental to your well-being, certain behavior patterns, certain mental thoughts, blah blah blah, whatever. So I really made that sound not serious at all,
right? Is it important, Brett?
I don't know. I mean, why are we even fucking listening to her? Okay. So I was reading up just trying to find different things about what causes stress. I mean, you know what causes stress, but you know what I mean? Just trying to find a way to condense it. So I found this one site that kind of listed off some things, and I'm going to list them off for you guys. So overgeneralizing is one. So that's like when we see things as all or nothing. So it's like if one thing goes wrong with something, just everything is done. Like the whole thing's a failure. Yeah, like you just
fuck it attitude.
Yeah, there you go. All fuck it attitude. There you go. So that causes stress. Assuming you're a mind reader. It's like when you assume that you know what someone is thinking. So when you tell yourself, like, you know that, say, oh, that person thinks I'm stupid. Like, how you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I do that at times when I get anxious about what, maybe something happened. I'm thinking like, oh, that person thinks this of me now. And da-da-da. It's like, I really don't know what that person thinks of me. Just because, everybody looks at things differently. So it's like, even though we both had this situation, they may not give a fuck. And I'm over here worrying about it and thinking, what are you saying?
You ever think about like all the scenarios you make up in your head that just cause you anxiety?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I argue with somebody in my car while I'm driving by myself in my car, probably every couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we just make up these whole scenarios just to, I don't know. Like, what's the purpose?
It seems like, I think in your mind, you think that it's going to bring you comfort because you're trying to prepare yourself for anything. But in reality, it's like you said, you're just making up all these things and that's the thing, when it finally comes to a head, like, none of that shit happens and it's just like, oh, okay.
I got an example of it. So, Sprint.
Oh yeah.
One of the leading causes of stress is Sprint. It's Sprint customer service.
Anyone's customer service. Go ahead, though.
So we do this BOGO deal. I learned what BOGO is. I didn't know.
I was like, I didn't know what BOGO is.
I don't know what BOGO is.
I knew you didn't.
All right, so we did this. Shut up. We did this BOGO deal, right? Mm-hmm. And we bought the 2 iPhones. Buy one, get one free. Mm-hmm. My ass, I got the gold one. I don't know who wants the gold one. So I wanted black. I got it. I never activated it. I go in. Right? I go in. Well, I call and I was like, hey, I bought these phones online or over the phone. Purchased these phones over the phone. And I want to exchange it. I want to get a different color. Right? They're like, you can go into any store. Go into the store on my lunch break. And it's just turned into a shit store. And long story short, I'm not going to like drag this out, but I didn't get done in an hour lunch break. I just couldn't exchange my phone. I had to come back after work. After work, I'm there another hour and a half. He ends up taking my phone, refunding my phone, but then I have to pay a $30 activation fee to get a phone that I already had. Right? So I pay the activation fee, get on the phone, I call customer service, they credit my account for $30 I just paid. All said and done. So then we start, like, a couple months keep going, and we start to see our bill, and our bill just seems extremely high. And we're not understanding why. Well, just so happens that we've been paying on a phone that was supposed to be free for the last 5 months.
Where's my BOGO, nigga?
Right? Where my BOGO at? So apparently when I went into the store... my BOGO, bitch. Right? So apparently when I went into the store, because it was 2 different dates, it took me out of the BOGO deal. And we get on customer service. This is like a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. We get on customer service. We explain. We talking to a specialist. Keep getting rerouted. And the woman got on the phone and was telling us, hey, I got escalated it on our end, but the person that you talk to in the store, if you go back to that store, they should be able to fix this for you. And don't let them tell you that they couldn't. So she kind of put the battery in my back, right? So she was like, yeah, they're going to say, we're going to do this, that, and the third. Don't accept that. They can do this. So, my nigga, I'm ready to go to war. Like we got it planned out. It's Thursday. We called on a Thursday. We know we going Saturday. And I'm like, yeah.
Ready for war.
Ready for war. Like, just ready to go. I'm like, yeah. And then, like, the lady was like, I don't know. She gave us, like, a little ammo. She was like, yeah, if they're giving you a problem, tell them to contact the NSS. I was like, oh. Come on, Brett. You distracted me, Right. So she was like,
sorry guys, I just sniffed my armpit. I just worked out earlier and it's reeking.
Oh,
I'm funky. Funky.
So, ready to go to war. It was just like, yeah. And another thing, like, just made this whole thing up in my head.
And if they say this, I'ma say that.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm ready.
Verizon doesn't treat us like this. That's just ready to go up. Yeah, ready to go up. Yeah, I go in. We going in just ready, like we're on edge. And it's the same manager that was there the day that the shit happened to me. I didn't like his face.
Right.
I didn't like his face. Right. Go in there. I'm ready to bark. He asks me the account number. He goes in the back. He's gone, and we're sitting in there like it's just us in the store, and we're just boiling. We're bubbling. He comes out. When I tell you the whole situation just went as smoothly as possible, like it was just super smooth. On top of that, they gave us $800 credit to our phone, so I'm in the plus. Like I don't have to pay my I don't have to pay my bill for the next like 6 months if I don't want to. Like you know what I'm saying. But this whole time, like I spent 2 days stressing. 2 days stressing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
For what?
I know.
I wanted confrontation. I wanted confrontation because I knew I was right, but at the same time, like, to what point? To what point? Just to be worked up, just to be ready, just stressing yourself out before we can even see the outcome. Right. Sorry for this long-winded storytelling.
No, but also, I want to throw in, when things like that happen, keep arguing your point, because a lot of times something can be done about it, and they try not to tell you that something can be done. Mm-hmm. Yo, I rented a fucking car from Enterprise when I went out of town a few weeks ago. This is quick. And I guess in Delaware, I passed some bullshit ass toll that was like 50 cents. I don't know. Some of the roads, I guess you just have to have Easy Pass or they're going to get you, you know? I didn't know. So they sent me some shit saying they was going to charge me, what was it, like $30 for the toll?
I thought it was it 14?
I thought it was 30. It was 14.
Nigga, I didn't get the mail. Why you asking me?
I don't know. I told you.
I thought you did.
Hold up.
Why you looking?
You have to edit this out.
You need to know. I thought it was 14, nigga.
Did I know I probably did throw a fit over fucking $14.
Yes, you did. Look, now you don't even want to tell the story because you paid your shit for $14. You little broke, little broke nigga.
I don't give a fuck, nigga. I need my coins. Fuck that. You gonna fucking charge me for a 50-cent toll? Bitch, I'll throw 2 quarters at your face. Hold up. It is $14. I'm petty as shit. Yup. $14. No, because I didn't see nowhere. I went online. I went to FAQs, little facts and questions.
Shut up. FAQs.
Little FAQs. And I saw something about $4 rental. I ain't seen nothing about $4. There's nowhere does it say 14 fucking bucks. So when I called, he was like, it goes towards paying our employees. I said, but it's 50 cents.
What you mean it goes towards paying
like he
our
couldn't
employees?
give
You
me...
pay your employees. I don't pay your employees.
Like, I said, but it's 50 cents. So he took that shit right off.
That $13.50 was going in his pocket. Shut up.
Then they took, they would have charged me $14.50. It was even $14.
Oh,
so
shit.
Then, they just charged 50 cents to my account the other day. I said,
They petty as
hell. Yes, I was like, damn.
50 cent. I'm tripping over 14, but y'all tripping over 50 cent.
I was like, y'all's gonna go charge me $14 off this 50 cent. Like, stop playing.
That's that stress, though.
Oh my god, this is so off. Yeah, it stressed me for like 2 seconds, and I said, I was gonna wait. I was like, no, I gotta, that's the Aries in me, though. I was like, no, we gotta handle this now. I don't want to be thinking about this shit. Like, I gotta call right now. But you're the Aries rising, too.
Do I?
Yeah.
How do you know that? You know that more
I just remember. Because I was like, Aries squad. We all had Aries. All of us friends had something with Aries. I think that's why we all got along so well and so impulsive and not thinking before we do things. Anyway, okay. So back to
speak for yourself.
Fuck out of here. So back to this list I was talking about. So it ties into exactly with your story. Catastrophizing was another one. I hope I pronounced that right. Is when we exaggerate how awful something's going to be or imagine the worst possible outcome. And then another one was fortune telling, is we think we know for sure what is going to happen. Like, I know I'm not going to get the promotion, or I know I'm not going to be able to handle that assignment. You know, just self-sabotage.
Yeah, sabotage. Plug, sabotage. Go listen to it. Episode, is that 3?
3, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, continue.
But, no, that's it for the list. But I think just we need to try to, all of us, including me, after we hang up, I think I'm going to make a little mini list, even though we're midway through the day, just at least 2 things I can get done with the rest of the day. It's like 1:30 right now. And the number one thing that I kept saying was exercise. And that's why I'm funky, because I made sure first thing, because I already woke up feeling kind of blah. So I was like, let me go exercise. I knew after we recorded, I probably wasn't going to want to do anything. So I've been trying to get better with exercising, because I always do feel much better when I'm taking care of myself, at least trying to.
How easy is it to, like, forget that you feel better after exercising?
Yeah, because the impending doom of it, oh my God.
I don't know. Like it's so crazy. We know how beneficial it is.
Yeah, it's like you need to write down,
reason,
like, what a
the first thing that goes.
Yeah, you got to write it down. Like, remember, motherfucker, you're going to feel great.
You feel good after that run. And you know what else is funny? Mm-hmm. One of the things, like, I always want to get sleep. Mm-hmm. But I stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning on any given night, right? Wow. Then wake up at like 6. I don't know. I have problems. But one of the things that, like, I was like, yo, I can't run in the morning because I'm going to be too tired at work. Mm-hmm. I did it one time. But, like, it actually gives you energy.
Yeah, it does.
Like, you actually start your day off feeling great. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Took a little 30-minute run real quick, got home, hopped in the shower, and I was straight the rest of the day. I probably had more energy the day I ran more than I do when I just wake up to get ready with 15 minutes before I got to get out the door. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think exercise goes by the wayside. Sleep definitely goes by the wayside. I'm going to plug it again. That Joe Rogan podcast, episode 1109. Please go listen to that, yo.
Sleep is one of the things, definitely. Trying to meditate. Don't make meditation so complicated. It's literally just stopping and just sorting out your shit. Just stop and think about things.
Or it's the void of thinking about things.
No, I'm getting to that. It starts with, it depends on what you're trying to do. So you want to meditate. Meditating is just thinking. So, you know what I mean? There's different ways to think or not think. But I was saying just stopping, sorting out your shit. Because when you're meditating, you are thinking essentially. You're trying to sort out your shit. So sort out your shit, and then you can start to just let it go. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I'm taking care of that. Now I can let it go and just sit and be present in the moment. Each moment is different.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
No second is the same.
One of the things I got out of meditation, and a lot of times it's hard for people to, like, just sit still and not have their mind wander. And one of the things that helped me with meditating is just concentrating on breath. If you're concentrating, like, if breathing is one thing we have to do at all times, if you concentrate on it, like, literally just focus on your breathing, you are present.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're still going to be thinking, just because. But you can acknowledge those thoughts, fully think it through, whatever you want to think about with that thought, think it out, then let it go. Then get back to, like you said, get back to focusing on your breathing. And eventually, I mean, you only got but so much shit in your head. Eventually, you're going to get it all out. But it's also, too, just finding the time to be able to sit there for at least 30 minutes. Because, when you first start meditating, it takes a while to really snap into that zone. But when you do it more and more, you can tap in quicker. But it also helps, just you keeping that positivity, keeping that, love, that feeling of love going. Because when you're always feeling so doom and gloom, you know what I mean? You're just going to look at everything negatively. But we could talk more about that another time. But anyway, so like I said, making lists. We've talked about that many times. Stop procrastinating on your goals. That will help relieve stress. Because a lot of times, a lot of times your stress is things that you can easily fix. It's just that you're procrastinating. And I mean, I'm stressed out now. I always talk about, I gotta clean up. That's like chronic stress for me. Like, it's never
a running theme with Brett, yo.
Oh,
I gotta clean.
God. I always clean like a corner or something. And then it's like, that's it. And I just get so overwhelmed, and I never fully finish everything I want to do. So I need to just start trying to write it down and what I'm specifically going to do and make sure I do it completely, and then whatever, So, limiting your sugar and coffee intake. Make sure you're laughing. Get those laughs in.
Laughing is very important.
Oh my God, it's the best. So,
here's another thing. Yeah, laughing is very important. Very important. Another thing is your coping mechanisms, yo. Try to make your coping mechanisms healthy ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, try not to mask them with drugs and drinking and self-sabotaging behavior. It's so crazy. Like, you'll feel like shit, but you think the answer to feeling like shit is to do something shitty.
Yeah, essentially.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just compounding.
Much. Yeah, so, and it's like, and it feels good in the moment because you feel like shit. It feels good to do something bad for yourself, I guess. As backwards as that sounds. You almost kind of feel like you're being fake when it's like you feel like shit and it's like, oh, let me go for a run. Let's fucking run now, yeah. But then I bet if you went for I'm just gonna fucking run. But I
run away from my problems.
Yeah, but I bet if you go running, you'll feel great.
There's a real that's one thing I've been trying to do. Well, that's one thing I've been working on since last summer. Like, running has been very therapeutic for me. Like, when you just get into that mode, I don't know if you've been there.
Oh,
but
I know.
You just get into that mode when you're not even thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Or when you don't even feel it. You don't feel tired, nothing.
Like
you're just in the
moving.
zone.
Just
great.
moving.
Yeah, I just switched to tear up my knees so much. But
yeah.
I'm just getting back into it. I guess not doing, that's when I was trying to do the fucking 5-mile runs every day. Maybe it just...
Those ones is fun.
But no, that's what tore up my knees. I'm thinking maybe if I just keep it to 3 miles max.
I used to try to do a weekly mile set. And you'll find your own number. So say if it's 15 miles a week.
Yeah, that's easy.
You know what I mean? Break that up on days. Yeah. That's not hard. But you just find your number.
Yeah.
Find your number.
No, but I was actually, I'm thinking about, I was training for a race. That's why I was doing the 5 miles a day. So, but that shit, I thought I couldn't walk, child.
No,
my knees
a lot.
was
That's a lot.
Sore. I was limping. I thought I hurt myself.
You never build up to it. You go 5.
I think I did, but it was still a quick one. Yeah, I was going 3 normally, then I just started busting out the 5s. And the weather was cold. But moving on. Yoga. Yoga, I know that sounds so basic, bitch. Do some yoga, you'll be stressed. But it's
chaturanga.
Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. But
baby pose.
I've done baby pose was so good. Child's pose, baby pose.
Whatever. Happy baby. That's what
happy baby. I heard. There you go. I was laughing.
Happy baby.
I thought you said baby pose. But yeah, yoga, because yoga focuses on being in the moment, being present in the moment, and just you're breathing and not thinking about anything except achieving that stretch and thinking about exactly the part of the body that you're stretching. That's all you're focused on in the moment. So it's fun to just let go for that 40 minutes or however long, and just see how limber you're getting, what your body can do.
That shit is difficult, yo.
It is.
That should be frustrating me.
Oh man, sometimes I made a mistake of taking some classes. Y'all bitches said this was beginner. The fuck are we doing? We over here on our tiptoe with our leg in the air, standing. I was calm down. But also, of course, taking a break from your phone. Cough, cough, social media.
Yes, please.
Put the phone down. Because a lot of times, especially Instagram, like you were saying, all those people fronting on their lives, you start to feel feelings of worthlessness. And I don't know if you really know. Yeah, I don't know if you realize it.
Take a break from social media or just go to our page.
You know what?
Just go to our page and... Rich joking. Rich joking over there. But yeah. So if you're gonna take a break from social media, just make sure you continue to go to our pages.
Oh my God, Isaiah!
Continue to double tap. I'm very serious.
I know you are. That is the problem. Listen, we're trying to help people. Damn it! Not self-serving. Yes. This is not self-serving right now. Okay.
It is. Even helping people is self-serving.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you do get that little boost of being awesome.
I'm not awesome. I'm fucking. I'm in here. I'm in the trenches with you niggas. I ain't awesome. I'm struggling to shit.
We all struggling.
All right.
We all struggling.
So one thing that I need to do that I do not do, but I really need to, is
declare it.
Journaling. Journaling, writing out what is worrying you. Because a lot of times when you write it down, it's done. It's gone. You don't think about it no more. Because sometimes it be stupid little petty shit that's just eating at you.
Sometimes you gotta read how dumb.
Yeah.
Like sometimes seeing it on paper is just like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah, and even if you don't, so you can write it down on a piece of paper, rip it up, throw it away. You can make a Word document, put a password on it if you want, just because, in case you don't want nobody, of course, finding it and things like that. But what I used to do a lot, I used to write shit down, just like rip it up and throw it away. Like if I was upset about something, I just write it out. Then it's like, I'm done, throw it in the trash. And it was over. So that's also a really good thing to do. I wish it was I wish we had in our heads kind of like some Black Mirror shit. Like when we're like going through things like this, all of a sudden this list will pop down like, hey, try this. How about you journal?
You
how
forget
about
all the stuff. You forget all the stuff.
In the moment, you forget all of this stuff. It's just like, what?
Or how about listen to the stress episode from the BZ podcast?
That too. Yeah.
That pops in your head and you listen to it again and then you share it. You share it and you comment.
Help a brother out.
Help
your friends
other
out.
people.
Yes.
Yes, help your friends.
So then, lastly, of course, sex. Sex is stress reliever.
Stress reliever. Have as much safe sex
yeah,
as possible.
Yeah.
But, I found interesting when we were doing research for this one, it's not just, excuse my language, it's not just busting a nut. It is the way in which you achieve such nut.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I don't know the science behind it. We probably should know because we're talking about it.
I mean, you're essentially saying beating off ain't the same as having sex with a person.
Oral sex isn't the same.
Yeah, that's still not, yeah.
Literally, no, but scientifically, you're literally not getting the same stress release.
Mm-hmm.
Could have fooled me.
I'm done.
Watching porn is not the same kind of release. And you always feel dirty after you watch porn.
Shame.
I be wanting to close my eyes like, get this demonic stuff off my...
Get dirty, you're nasty.
Who is your father?
Oh, God. What led me to type this in?
Right? God looking at you. Yeah, looking at me every time. Right when you finish, you snap back in reality. You feel like a little dirtbag.
Come over me.
Right? Yeah, one of my ideas, I don't know if I told you this, but people's search history on their computer, what if we anonymously just read people's search history on
people don't delete computers. It, the fuck? Crazies.
You just reminded me I'm probably due for a delete.
I'm done.
Probably due for a delete. But you know how gross that is? How gross some people's search history would be?
Yeah, I could imagine. I can imagine.
There's some stuff I don't want people to know in my search history. But hey, you into that?
But even still, if you're on a porn site, you just do pickety. It's like, I wasn't really into that. I just wanted to see what it was like.
That wasn't me.
I wasn't trying to see this. It was just on the suggestions.
No, Mrs. Knox, you are watching tentacle porn. It's on your IP. It is on your IP address.
You want to tell us about your relationship with octopuses? Octopi? How do you say what octopus? Octopus.
I don't know. I'm about to go off subject, but octopuses really creep me out.
Really?
Oh my
God.
they're
so cool.
No, they're super cool. That's why they creep me out. They're remarkably smart. Mm-hmm. And we eat them. Nobody cares.
They're smart. They're so smart.
Yeah, they say they're smart as like a cat, but like they can't even figure out what enables them to do the things that they do. Like all that shape shifting shit that they be doing. Mm. You ever see their skin underneath a magnifying glass? Mm-mm. Like their skin's alive, like it flickers. It's like these black dots that flicker, and that's why like they're able to like mimic it. I can't, yo.
A lot of animals are dumb smart, yo. It's kind of freaky. Kind of feel bad. Like, oh, God, I think you guys are so stupid. You guys are actually pretty smart. I saw something about crows this morning. Crows are like super smart, apparently. Why are we talking about? God damn it.
That's fine.
Nat Geo, like the milk.
We need to talk about animals.
Weird animal episodes. Facts, yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that.
I have a lot.
Yeah, don't you start? No, knowledge. Save it.
I'll start.
Save it. No, you already traumatized me a little bit. Save the bear one.
Oh shit. Yeah. Bears, gorillas. No, not gorillas. Chimps.
Okay.
Woo, boy, I have an irrational fear that I'm going to be killed by a chimp one day. I will never put myself in this situation, but for some reason I feel like I'm just going to like turn the corner in the supermarket and there's going to be like a chimp sitting there.
Face get clawed off.
Like, chimps are like the representation of all the evil in people. Mm-hmm. But they just don't have any control over themselves. Right. Like jealousy will make them rip you to pieces.
Jesus. All right, yo. All right. Okay, sorry, so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that.
I'm gonna go.
Stay stress free.
Yeah, I mean, that's easier said than done.
Right.
But I'm gonna go try to actually do some of these methods today. I'm going to try to, make myself a little list. And if I get worked up about anything, I'm going to journal that motherfucker.
I'm going to try to be present. I'm going to work hard to be present, stay consistent in my goals.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy your day off before work tomorrow. Not think about, I got to work tomorrow, just enjoy the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to try. I don't have to jump on the plane to enjoy myself. I can wake up and be appreciative of where I'm at.
Yep. I feel that.
I'm going to lay off of social media unless I'm posting to the BZ podcast. That's why.
Yeah. Right? I swear that. Them memes, yo. Them memes be life. Yes. That's all my Instagram is filled with fucking memes, yo. It's great.
We got to start sharing more of these memes, yo. We need people to laugh. I'm going to try to laugh more.
Yeah, let's relieve some stress.
Laugh more, folks. Stop being so serious.
Relieve
some stress.
All right.
And have more sex.
Ew. Little dirty.
Stay off the tentacle porn, Britt.
Oh my God. Please don't make that a thing. That is not true.
We're starting the rumor. That's starting.
Not true, guys.
Someone's going to know now. Catch out the bag, Britt.
All right, Zen.
Alright, y'all. Hey, we appreciate you guys for listening. Continue to listen. We really love everything.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. All of your feedback is much appreciated. And your time, because we are also limited. So thank you for giving a little piece of your day to us. Hope you enjoy. And see you next time.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.